Acts chapter 24. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Yahudim throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. We're going to look at this term Nazarene, as we understand that the followers of Yahushua HaMashiach did not call themselves Christians. The word Nazarene is translated from the Greek Nazareos, which means an inhabitant of Nazareth, a title given to Yahushua in the so-called New Testament, a name given to the followers of Yahushua HaMashiach. The dictionary also defines it as a Nazarite. However, we're going to see that and Nazarene is not a Nazarite. This is incorrect. Bamidbar, or Numbers chapter 6. Speak unto the children of Yeshurun, and say unto them, when either a man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto Yahuwah, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. So we see here that the word that is translated in English as Nazarite comes from the Hebrew Nazir. Nazir. Nazir means consecrated or devoted one. Nazarite. A more appropriate pronunciation would be Nazirite. Matthew or Matthew chapter 11. For Yohanan came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a devil. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold a man gluttonous and a wine-bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children. Mark chapter 14. And he said unto them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until that day that I drink it new in the kingdom of Elohim. So we see that Yahushua in Matthew chapter 11 was called a wine-bibber. We see in Mark chapter 14 that he did drink of the vine. He drunk of grapes, of wine, the juice of grapes. So we have to understand that Yahushua was not a Nazir. He was not a Nazarite. Because Nazarites were not permitted to partake of the fruit of the vine, to partake of grapes. Matthew chapter 2. But when Herod was dead, behold, a messenger of Yahuwah appeared in a dream to Yusuf in Egypt, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Yeshurun, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Yeshurun. But when he heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea, in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Notwithstanding, being warned of Elohim in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. So we need to look at this part where it talks about the prophets said that he would be called a Nazarene. Where in the prophets does it say this? We see that the title Yehusha of Nazareth is used several times in the so-called New Testament. Nazareth is the largest city in the northern district of Yisrael. In the Besorah, or Gospel, the town is described as the childhood home of Yehusha. One view holds that Nazareth is derived from one of the Hebrew words for branch, namely Netzar, and alludes to the prophetic messianic words in the book of Yeshayahu or Isaiah, chapter 11. From Yesse's root, a branch or netzer will bear fruit. One view suggests this toponym might be an example of a tribal name used by resettling groups on their return from exile. Alternatively, the name may derive from the verb netzar, which means watch, guard, and keep, and understood either in the sense of watchtower or guard place, implying the early town was perched on or near the brow of the hill, or in the passive sense as preserved, protected, in reference to its secluded position. The Arabic name for Nazareth is An-Natsira, and Yehusha is also called An-Natsiri, reflecting the Arab tradition of according people an attribution, a name denoting whence a person comes in either geographical or tribal terms. In the Quran, Christians are referred to as Natsara, meaning flowers of An-Natsari, or those who follow Yehusha of Nazareth. Yeshayahu, or Isaiah chapter 11. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Yeshai, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. So that word branch is translated from the Hebrew Netzar. So this is where we get the prophecy that he shall be called a Nazarene. Netzar. Netzar means sprout, shoot, branch. Yeshayahu chapter 60. The sons also of them that afflicted you shall come bending unto you, and all they that despise you shall bow themselves down at the soles of your feet, and they shall call you the city of Yahuwah, the Zion of the set-apart one of Yisrael. Your people also shall be all righteousness. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be esteemed. So again here, the word branch is translated from the Hebrew word netzar. Netzar also means to guard, watch over, or keep. This is the same Hebrew spelling as branch. Tehillim chapter 25. All the paths of Yahuwah are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. So we see that keep or guard is from the Hebrew netzar. Chapter 119. Remove from me reproach and contempt, for I have kept your testimonies. Again, kept or guard is translated from the Hebrew netzar. Verse 55. I have remembered your name, Yahuwah, in the night, and have kept your Torah. This I had because I kept your precepts. So again, we see that not only does netzar mean branch, it also means to guard or keep, to protect. So when we look at the spelling of Nazir or Nazarite in the Hebrew, it's very different from Nazareth or Natsar. So we have to understand that Nazarene does not mean a Nazarite or a Nazir, one that's separated, who does not cut his hair or drink wine or eat grapes. That is a different word in Hebrew. But Nazareth and Natsar come from the same root, which means branch, and it also means to guard and protect. Around 331 CE, Eusebius records that from the name Nazareth, Mashiach was called a Nazarene, and that in earlier centuries, Christians were once called Nazarenes. The rabbinic and modern Hebrew name for Christians, Natsarim, is also thought to derive from Nazareth. Some medieval Jewish polemical texts connect Natsarim with the Natsarim, watchmen of Ephraim, in Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah chapter 31. In Syriac Aramaic, Nazareth is used for Nazareth, while Nazarenes and of Nazareth are both Nasrani or Nazariah in adjectival form. Nazrani is used in the Quran for Christians. St. Thomas Christians, an ancient community of Jewish Christians in India who trace their origins to evangelistic activity of Thomas the Apostle in the 1st century, are sometimes known by the name Nazrani even today. So we have to understand that the followers of Yahusha did not refer to themselves as Christians. They were called Christians in Antioch, but that was a pagan term. Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah chapter 31. At the same time, says Yahuwah, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Yashrael, and they shall be my people. Thus says Yahuwah, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Yashrael, when I went to cause him to rest. Yahuwah has prepared of old unto me, saying, Yes, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn you. Again I will build you, and you shall be built, O Virgin of Yashrael. You shall again be adorned with your tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. You shall yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. The planters shall plant, and shall eat them as common things. For there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise you, and let us go up to Zion unto Yahuwah our Elohim. For thus says Yahuwah, Sing with gladness for Yaakov, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish you, praise you, and say, O Yahuwah, save your people, the remnant of Yashrael. So in verse 6, that word watchman in English is translated from the Hebrew Natsarim. So not only does Natsar refer to the branch, but it is also to protect or to guard. Here is translated as watchman. Yehuchanan, or John chapter 15. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abides in me, and I in him, the same brings forth much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. So we see that Yahushua was speaking to the Yahudim, saying that he is the vine, the Yahudim, or the Judeans, are the branches. And if we take that word from the Hebrew, branches would be Natsarim. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father esteemed, that you bear much fruit. So shall you be my disciples. So we're going to look at Yeshayahu chapter 8. Bind up the testimony. Seal the Torah among my disciples. So the true disciples of Yahushua HaMashiach are to be Natsarim, or branches or guardians of the Torah. They are to guard the Torah. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. So let's go to Yehuchanan Aleph, or 1 John chapter 5. By this we know that we love the children of Elohim, when we love Elohim and keep his commandments. For this is the love of Elohim, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So again, the Natsarim protect or guard the commandments of Yahuwah. Acts chapter 24. And after 5 days, Hananiah the high priest descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Yahudim throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, For as much as I know that you have been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself. But this I confess unto you, that after the way, which they call heresy, so worship I the Elohim of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the Torah and in the prophets, and have hope toward Elohim, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. So we see that Shaul, or Paul, as a member of the Natsarim, confessed that he believed all things that are written in the Torah and in the prophets. So again, a Natsar, or to guard or to protect. The Natsarim keep or guard the commandments of Yahuwah. They protect the Torah. Review questions. What does the word Natsar mean? What does the word Nazir mean? What is the difference between a Nazirite and a Nazarene? Did the disciples of Yahushua call themselves Christians? What do the disciples of Yahushua guard? Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Bind up the testimony, seal the Torah among my disciples. Shalom, family. Thanks for watching. don't forget to click the subscribe button. Like, comment, and share.